but he's working through that, and he obviously has a bright future here as a Buckeye.
Kellyanne Stitz.
Coach, Husky Stadium is known to be a very loud stadium to play in. What have you guys been doing in practice? Have you been adding crowd noise or anything like that to prepare for that?
Yeah, crowd noise and great environment. I've never been. Can't wait to go. Certainly they've won 22 straight home games, so what a great challenge for our team. We're excited about that, and that's the next step for our maturity as a team. We know that in order for us to reach our goals, we're going to have to go on the road in this conference and win games. And this is a team with a great record at home, and they're a very good team. They have a lot of weapons, and they're well coached. So our preparation has been good this week. The guys know what the challenge is going to be, and we know how tough we have to be to go on the road and win games. And it's not just physically tough, but it's emotionally tough, mentally tough, and understanding the environment can't dictate how we play.
Far left here, Andy Anders.
Yeah, Caden Curry has been one of the most consistent guys, it seems, so far, getting pressure, used as the defensive tackle in that sort of rushman package. Just what have you seen from him so far?
Well, Caden's somebody to me who has been in the program and put a lot of time and energy and effort into earning his opportunity to be here in this moment. But Caden, to me, is a great example for some of the younger players on it doesn't always go exactly the way you think it might, and there's ups and downs along the way. He's had his ups and he's had his downs, but he's come out the back end stronger for it. He's a resilient person who's gone through some difficult times, just like everybody has during their journey. And it's great to see him playing the way he is right now. And if we're going to reach our goals this year and get to where we need to be, we need Caden to be the playmaker he is right now for us. He plays with a high motor, has a great feel for the game. He always did. I mean, when he was in high school, I remember just hearing so many stories about what a great player he was. And then when you got a chance to see him play on both sides of the ball, he was a multiple sport athlete. And now you're seeing all that come to fruition here. And again, guy who's played special teams, he's made plays for us all over the field, and he's a big part of our defense now.
Stephon Freshman.
We asked you something similar with Lee Corso heading into the Texas game, but you guys get Gary Danielson on the call this weekend. What do you thought about the impact he's made and kind of what that CBS slot has meant to college football?
Yeah. To hear, he and Brad Nessler on a 3:30 game is, sort of like I remember, Keith Jackson, and, you just growing up, you hear these voices. You hear Fowler, you hear Herbstreit, you hear, Gus and Joel, but to hear those guys, we all have our visions of what that's like, being at home and watching the games and the great environments they've called games in. So he's made a huge impact. It's bringing college football into people's living rooms and restaurants, and so they deserve a lot of recognition for the work they put in. I don't think people quite realize the preparation that goes in, the meetings to understand, what's going on with each team, and how every word is measured, and then they have to tell the story and paint the picture for the audience, and he's one of the best there has been.
Right here, Tony Goodman.
Ryan, any update on Lorenzo Styles?
Ready to go. Had a great week of practice.
And right next door, Bill Landis.
Ryan, you guys have a good quarterback. You get ready to play with a good quarterback. You look at some of the passing statistics. There's a lot of Big Ten quarterbacks who are playing pretty well right now. I don't know if you take note of that at all, but what do you think of where the conference is just sort of at large in its quarterback play as someone who's been able to observe that over the years?
Well, just, I think we'll see where as the season goes on, kind of where it goes, but it's great to see so many good players in the league, and great to see, us playing in a venue like this in conference. If someone had said you're playing your first conference road game in Washington, a few years ago, people would be shaking their head, but that's just the way it is. And I think it's great for the league, and you can see how it's drawing great players into the league, and and it's good, just healthy to see these players, whether they're recruited to come in out of high school or transferring in. It's obviously a very attractive league.
Right in front of him, Spencer.
Ryan, with Kenyatta, I know that he left the Texas team early, but what do you want to see from him in the next step in his season? Because it seemed like he was like a potential star in his defense coming into the year, and hasn't really seen his name called as much.
Yeah, I think he's playing solid football right now. He understands how he fits into the scheme, and at the end of the day, he has high expectations for himself, and he's pushing every day to maximize the talents that he has. He's become a very good leader. To your point, we're going to need him, and there hasn't been a full game really for those guys since the Texas game. So this will be a full game right here. So what a great opportunity for him.
Got two more. We'll go to Bill Rabinowitz.
Ryan, the last time Ohio State played Washington at the Rose Bowl, the last game that you were not the head coach, you put the whistle around your neck symbolically. What do you remember about that? And could you imagine back then what these intervening years have been?
Yeah, no, and I forgot until you just said that was the case. That was a very good team, and I remember that game in particular. Just we jumped in early, and it was warm, and then we came out in the second half, and it might have dropped 20 degrees, and we kind of got stale, and Washington came roaring back and kind of hung on at the end, which kind of left a different taste in our mouth. Like we felt like we had a chance to really do something, but Washington was a really good team, and they fought back hard, and they were a very physical team, and so we had a lot of respect for them as a team. But the game itself, I remember being in the locker room. There's kind of snapshots that I have, certainly of Bourbon, putting the whistle around my neck, and that moment was really special, and I have a picture of that in my office. And then the rest kind of was a blur from there. And to say, I guess, what are we, 7 years later now? Or 7 years later, and this is where we call home. That really would have been a dream come true, quite honestly. And I think to think back on that next month in that first press conference, and I think a lot of people ask, what if you don't do this? What if you don't do that? And I just remember thinking, well, if you look at it like that, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you look at it like an opportunity, then it's a different point of view. And this has been one of the greatest opportunities of my life, and I enjoy every moment of being here, and understood then what the responsibility is and understand what it is now. It hasn't changed, but every year you grow a little more wiser and a little bit more calloused and a little more seasoned. But all that being said, I mean, this is a whole new team, and that's probably the best part of all of that, is every year is a new story, and this is a really great challenge for our team, and a really good opportunity for us to take a step of winning a conference road game against a team like this who's got such a great history on the road.
Last question to Tim May.
Ryan, with that in mind, what will you tell Julian Sayin just before leaving the locker room or going out onto the field about, obviously you had the big opening game against Texas, and now it's a big opening game on the road. What will you tell him you expect most out of him?
Take care of the football and just take it one play at a time. Don't do anything other than that, and then find a way to get your first road win. Sort of like in the Texas game, like win the game. And I think in an environment like this, you got to be steady and you got to lead. You have to lead, and you got to lead with your command. You got to lead with your play and your resolve.
Coach, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Ryan.